Your next
Now
presentation.
I am requesting Professor Mir Jamaluddin sir, Director NICBD. He is the leading radial interventionist of the Bangladesh, and he is the course director of Bangladesh Radial Intervention Course BRIC, and he is the Secretary General of Bangladesh Society of Cardiovascular Intervention. Now I am requesting Professor Mir Jamaluddin to deliver his speech regarding access site management. Professor Mir Jamaluddin.
Thank you, Vijay, to requesting our Professor Mir Jamaluddin sir for his speech. By this time, I can announce our Dr. Aptandi Babu Nassi from Russia. He is the president of Russian Cardiovascular Society. He is with us and hope you will enjoy. And I'm requesting Professor Mir Jamaluddin sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you. He is the pioneer or father of distal radial intervention, and I shall show the distal radial intervention, what we do in Bangladesh. First of all, I must have to introduce our new chairman of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University Department of Cardiology, Professor A.K.M. Fazlur Rahman. To him, have a good club, as because just now he has become the chairman of this cardiology department of only Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University. So I have declared it, and now I want to start my topics. Access site management and hurdles in radial intervention, though it is written as radial intervention, but I shall have to tell both radial and femoral, as because till now all over the world femoral is still higher than radial. And Mujib Shatabarsha, though we are, though I have to tell it in Bangla, as because most of our participants and delegates are from Bangladesh. We are running in Mujib Shatabarsha. And techniques of vascular access. Vascular access is determined by anticipated pathological and anatomical findings relevant to the patient. Previous documentation of any difficulties, especially of vascular access, should be reviewed. And prior to procedure, assessment of all peripheral pulses is mandatory. This is for the beginner. You must have to remember it. And there are various possible access sites. What we use mostly radial and distal radial and femoral. And these are the route of interventions. You see the radial artery is approximately 2 to 3 millimeter. On the other hand, femoral artery is 3 to 4 times than radial. And these are the femoral access anatomy. Most of the time we shall have to feel the inguinal ligament, and 2 to 3 centimeter center to the 2 to 3 centimeter below the center of the inguinal ligament, we shall have to puncture. Otherwise, if we do not feel this inguinal ligament, if we feel the inguinal crease, sometimes we may do mistake. Most commonly used access for PCI even today in many countries. And site of puncture commonly femoral artery 2 centimeter below the inguinal ligament. Inguinal ligament runs from the all of us you know, and from anterosuperior spine to the pubic tubercle. And some operators rely on location of the. Some operator relies on the location of the inguinal crease. I already told that it is sometimes it is misleading. So always think about inguinal ligament. And percutaneous femoral artery puncture. Regarding the puncture, you will take several seconds to take a cine to see the head of the femur, and almost always you should try to puncture over the head of the femur, not below, not above. If you go to the above, then you may cause the retroperitoneal hematoma. If you do double wall puncture, if you go below, then you could make a pseudo aneurysm. So it is very, very important for the beginner. And let us come to the radial route. Transradial approach is gaining popularity because of its lower risks of vascular access complications, less major bleeding, lower costs, and greater patient comfort. And transradial catheterization first described by Radner in 1948. In 1989, Campau et al. Revisited Radner's idea, And in 1992, Kimenzi et al. Used Campau's work as the basis for developing TRI. And this is the history of transradial approach, which started from early 1983, and now it is almost 70% in Europe and 90% in UK and approximately 30% in Bangladesh. And there are some difficulties in transradial approach, and these are failure to puncture, difficulty in coronary cannulation, and there are different types of obstruction like radial artery spasm, loop, radial artery loop, tortuosity, arterial luxuria. All these are the different subsequently you will fill. And the benefits of radial approach, significantly lower vascular complication, minimum blood loss, early ambulation, early discharge, distinctly better quality of life, cost-effective, short hospital stay, definite mortality benefit in PCI, especially in STEMI, and which is declared in ESC guideline of STEMI management, and overall patient friendly. And like Bangladesh, it is also important for religious perception. And patient short stay, hospital stay, even it can be done OPD basis in our different private centers, including government center in National Institute of Cardiovascular Diseases. We can do it even in a OPD basis. Patient admitted in the early morning and goes home at night with walking, enters into the cath lab with walking and gets out from the cath lab with walking. And this is the modified Allen's test, which is not at all necessary nowadays. When we started 2 decades ago, then it was very much important, but nowadays for the younger colleagues, it is not at all essential. Cath lab preparation. You see hand rest, wrist extended, wrist flexed to arm rest, and sterile draping. And pre-cath ward preparation, that is shave and clean both forearms up to the mid forearm, also shave and clean the groin. If you have to cross over, approximately 2% in my practice, IV cannula, left hand if right radial, and right hand if left radial, mind it. And this is the cath lab preparation for hand for radial puncture. And this is the hyperextended hand. This is the position. Short puncture, you can use short puncture needle or Vasofix, hydrophilic sheath, short versus long sheath. Most of the cases we use short sheath, specific catheter curves and sizes. This is the anatomy, radial artery and ulnar artery. There are good collaterals between radial and ulnar artery. So if you miss the radial artery, lost the radial artery, usually there is no harm. And arterial puncture, 2 to 3 centimeter more proximal to the styloid process, with hyperextended wrist and more horizontal than femoral puncture. Don't hesitate to puncture deep to the posterior wall. Mind it, here there is no harm to puncture a double wall. And then pull back very slowly and more horizontal till free flow of blood through Vasofix cannula, NGO cath lab needle, or micropuncture needle. Sheath is introduced. Let us see. Take enough time to locate and fix the radial artery. Mind it, repeated puncture of the radial artery, there is spasm. I tell the radial artery is like new wife, as because it minds. If you puncture it repeatedly, it will stop flowing and then you will be in problem. So first stick is usually the best. No problem with double wall puncture, and don't hesitate to perform high puncture if necessary. And spasmolytics in most of the centers you use nitroglycerin, and some centers you also use verapamil, and diltiazem can also be used. And this is the position in which we do puncture. Here you see I am filling the ulnar artery, though it is not necessary. From the initial practice we felt the ulnar artery, and if the good ulnar artery, I am sure that if the radial is lost, there is no problem. Then I take an insulin syringe, and with the help of this insulin syringe, approximately 1 ml local anesthetics is given, and over the skin I make it spreading of this local anesthetics, and then do the puncture. My practice is usually simple. I am a simple man. I like simple things and do simple works. And I always use the Benflon, which is available everywhere, not in a cardiac center, in a Upazila hospital even. And this Benflon easily, you see, the once the blood has come, then I further push and then pull back when the blood is coming out. When the jet of the blood, you see jet of blood is coming, and then I am introducing this wire, and over this wire, I introduce the guide sheath without any making knife by gentle corkscrew movement. And this is the distal radial. This is now the default technique of my cath lab. And there are some distinct benefits of distal radial route. Why we have switched over from radial to the distal radial route? To preserve the radial artery for subsequent intervention, if necessary, for using radial artery as conduit in CABG, for making arteriovenous fistula in CKD patients, and to avoiding the radial artery spasm, less chance of hematoma and lower time to hemostasis, less late lumen loss, and well-tolerated patient, and increase the patient satisfaction because of less pain, less radial artery occlusion. And another thing what I tell, that we do not work in supine position, we work in anatomical position, and this procedure is in anatomical position. And that is why it is more suitable to us as well as to the patient. Here you see for the distal radial artery, we are filling the distal radial artery and giving the local anesthesia. And similarly, we use this Benflon puncture, and with this Benflon, I do the puncture, and after puncture, when the blood comes, and then I further push and then pull back the needle. And then when gush of blood comes to the cannula, then I introduce the wire and I introduce the sheath. Similarly, like that of radial, there is no problem in between there is no difference in between the radial and distal radial. Only thing is that you see gush of blood like radial, and I feel when I do a radial puncture nowadays, I feel it is femoral, and distal radial seems to be radial to me, as because puncture is almost same and outcome is almost same, though scientifically the distal radial artery is 80% of radial artery. Dia is a bit smaller. And this is the sheath placed in distal radial approach, and this is the hemostasis technique. Simple hemostasis by our technique. And hemostasis is very important. Radial band you can use, but this radial band is a bit costly, 2,000 taka extra. For our country, developing country, we do not use regularly. And sheath removal, and here you will do just after the procedure, you will remove the sheath both in PCI as well as in angioplasty. And hemostasis technique, there is a patent hemostasis technique. This is very important. You see the radial band is placed over the radial artery, and there is a small bit blue color on the sheath, and place it over the radial artery, inflate it up to 16 to 18 ml air, and then there will be stopping the blood, and you will remove air slightly 1, 2, 3 ml. When gush of blood will come, and then you will further increase up to 2 or 3 ml air and keep it in this position for 2 hours, then it will maintain the patency. This is called patent hemostasis technique. This is very important for radial approach, as because you must have to preserve the radial artery. Hurdles, you know, there are various hurdles. Let us see some hurdles. There may be spasm, it may be focal, it may be diffuse, and there may be during puncture, there may be difficulty in wire advancement, and during catheter manipulation. All this time you may feel disturbance, and there may be radial artery atherosclerosis, You see there is radial artery atherosclerosis. After giving several nitros, the radial artery is like same lesion, meaning that it is atherosclerotic change. And radial artery, there are different loops, radial, brachial, subclavian. These are the challenges of radial puncture, radial root. And you see this is a radial root. It is approximately 180-degree radial loop. And how I shall have to overcome? You introduce the wire, and over the wire should be a downsized wire, and over the catheter maybe should be downsized, and over the wire you will push the entire assembly forward, and then you will be able to cross the loop. You see? And there is another radial loop, you see, and this radial loop, how we shall overcome it? The wire is not crossing the radial loop, then PTC wire is introduced, and after introducing the PTC wire, we use balloon. If it is 5 millimeter, 5 French catheter, we use 1.5 millimeter balloon. If it is 6 French, we use 2 millimeter catheter. Half of the catheter, half of the balloon inflated outside the catheter, half remains inside the catheter. Push the entire assembly forwards, and the procedure will over. And let us see. After the procedure, vessel is all right. There is some brachial loop, though it is a bit uncommon, but it may be. Here there is a brachial loop. How I have crossed it, you see the wire is crossed, and over the wire, entire assembly is introduced and pulled back, and then we have overcome it. And there is some subclavian loop very often we get, and it is very easy to overcome, just pushing the wire and taking the tell the patient to take a deep breath, and it will become straight. You see, it has become straight, and do the procedure easily. And this is the combo technique, what you can use, that is virtual sheathless. You see there is a small sheath, only 7 centimeter, and it is 7 French, and sheath is out and catheter is in. This is virtual sheathless procedure. And if there is some, sometimes we feel this type of notorious perforation, and this type of perforation, we also use the balloon assisted tracking, and we can go forward, and there is no harm. And after the procedure is over, you will take a view, and you will see that perforation is sealed. It is sealed due to 2 reasons. One is the catheter inside acts as an hemostatic procedure, as well as over the hand, you will use the cuff of the blood pressure. And for very much tortuous vessel, you can also use this type of balloon assisted tracking, and you will do the angiogram and angioplasty, everything. And choose radial approach in complex PCI only after your learning curve is over. This extremely patient-friendly technique can be the most unfriendly technique during the learning curve. And clear choice, we don't need debate on this issue any longer. Transradial approach, nowadays distal transradial approach is by default the access of choice in my cath lab, as well as in most of the cath labs in Bangladesh and in abroad. Femoral access is conventional, but radial access is comfortable to the patient with lower access related vascular complication. And now right distal radial approach is more safe and feasible as a new technique for coronary angiography and intervention. Thank you. Thank you all for patience hearing, and my special thanks to Babunashi for his presence, as because he is the pioneer in the field of distal radial approach, and he has shown us this from since 2016, and we have started in Bangladesh 3rd December 2017, until now my case has been done almost more than 3,000. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your nice presentation. Sir, a lot of questions have been generated for you. Would you please take seats, sir, and be relaxed to answer the questions?
Of course.
Most of the questions, sir, are coming from our fellows regarding the complication of radial access and the radial artery occlusion. Sir, the question is when after completion of the procedure, if anybody is found that radial artery is radial pulse is absent, how will you approach? How will you manage?
Thank you, Dr. Alom. After procedure, radial artery pulse is absent, meaning that there may be spasm of the vessel. There may be mostly there may be spasm of the vessel due to over compression of the radial artery. So you will have to release the pressure, and you will see whether pulse has reappeared or not. If reappeared, don't worry. And if the pulse is absent, even then you must have to feel the ulnar artery, whether ulnar artery is patent or not. If the ulnar artery is patent, don't think. Besides this, you will have to see the saturation in the thumb. If the saturation is thumb more than 95%, you will feel that there is no problem. And I think our foreign guest, he will better able to better answer this question. May I request our
Dr. Aftandil, can you hear me? Please unmute.
I can clearly. Thank you very much. Thank you. First of all, many thanks for invitation to all my Bangladeshi friends to this important event. So we discussed the significant and very important issues regarding the radial access. And we have numerous studies, randomized observational trials, meta-analysis, proved the advantage compared to femoral or other vascular access. But now we move progressively to distal, from foreign part to distal part of radial artery. And I mean the distal radial artery puncture in the snuff box area or distally than snuff box. And this trend is progressively increased. And I say that in our hospital, distal radial access serves as default access in all kinds of patients, including the acute coronary syndrome patients. We're starting as first line distal radial access because as the last presentation confirms, the distal radial access has potentially a lot of advantages compared to traditional entry point. First of all, this is the possibility to lowering radial artery occlusion. And now in our country, we conducted the comparative randomized trials compared the two distal and traditional entry point in terms of lowering the radial artery occlusion rate. It is the very important that we are nearly to complete patient enrollment in this study, in this randomized study, and we eagerly waiting the results and analysis of results of our study. And congratulations, all participants and all presenters for the very important and interesting presentations. And as I understand, the radial access penetration in Bangladesh is only 30% now. And my wish is that this percentage will grow in future. It would be great and very appreciated if in your country, the penetration of radial access will grow. Because in Europe and in North America, it's a very clear trend to increase the radial artery access usage. And it would be my great pleasure to join in the future to your scientific events to discuss a lot of issues and a lot of questions regarding the radial access. Thank you very much again for invitation, and hope see you in person after end of this pandemic, after end of this complicated.
Thank you, Babunash Bhai, for your wonderful presentation and explanation regarding our question. And another wonderful question, I just bring it forward to the all panelists. Is there any advantage of TR band over manual hemostasis in terms of reducing radial artery occlusion, especially, after radial intervention, there are some percentage we already found that the dezippering of the radial pulse. So is it any additional advantage?
Yes, yes. It's a question, though it is not used, I think, the other countries in the world, but in Bangladesh, we have one thesis work also, research work also, in comparison with conventional technique in Bangladesh, in correlation with radial band, and our result is almost equal. That is patency of the radial artery, both our conventional technique as well as radial band is almost equal. There is no significant difference between conventional technique and this radial TR band. And for it is for all to know that most of the cases, at least for angiogram, we do not use nowadays radial band. We use conventional technique. And for PCI, we use sometimes radial band. Even then, in that case, PCI cases, most of the cases we do not use the radial band. And we are getting the similar result. That is, the obstruction rate of radial artery is less than 3%, 2%, like this.
Thank you, sir. Another question from our fellows, that is there any advantage of ulnar axis, ulnar route over the radial route?
Regarding ulnar approach, there is one advantage, meaning that the ulnar artery dia is a bit bigger than radial artery. This is the advantage, but disadvantage is more as because it is in relation with ulnar nerve. So you may puncture the ulnar nerve, you may cause the wrist drop, and besides this, it is a bit deeper. So there may be chances of hematoma more. But some people, some authority does the ulnar procedures by their own wish. I do not think there is any significant superiority of ulnar approach than radial approach. I like to know it from Babunash Bhai. Would you please comment on this?
Sure, indeed. Indeed, the diameter of ulnar artery in vast majority of cases is much bigger than radial artery. So, and it allows us to use the large bore catheters and large sheath. But there's some tricky and problematic to puncture ulnar artery compared to radial, because radial artery lies always superficially.
Yes.
And there's a very simply to palpate the pulse, even in the forearm part or distal part. And in all cases, the first line of choose in our cath lab, and as I know as well in all cath lab of our country, is radial artery compared to ulnar. And we have the less experience to use the ulnar artery puncture because we use in more than 98% of our cases the radial access. So, and it's preferable in my opinion than ulnar access. But if we just have some problem to puncture or navigation through the radial artery, we can use the ulnar artery as well. And this is the safe and effective, and we have no fear to puncture ulnar artery when radial artery puncture navigation is difficult, because we have a lot of trials prove that ulnar artery simultaneous the ipsilateral ulnar artery puncture when radial ipsilateral puncture failed is safe and effective. So it's my comment for this.
Babunash Bhai, I have one question to you. When the beginner starts this radial approach and he is unable to puncture the radial artery, there is radial artery spasm, now feeling no pulse on the radial artery, whether he will shift to the ulnar on the same side or radial on the opposite side?
So this is the good question. because we always prefer not to damage two major artery in the same arm,
Yes.
because there's the risky to deterioration and for hand and collateral blood circulation, and we always prefer to move the contralateral radial artery puncture. But there's this maybe infrequent, but some cases when both radial artery in both arms are occluded or problematically cannulate. In this case, we use the ulnar puncture because, again, the puncture cannulation ipsilateral ulnar artery is safe. I don't know, it needs to more data to confirm and prove this this approach, but I just suggest that ipsilateral ulnar approach is safe and we can use this approach.
Where is the artery? Then fix it. Then you do the puncture. Then you will be in the proper way. Be remember the fellows.
Thank you, sir. Very good presentation and question answer session.